Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rob.
And I'm Joan. And sorry, I thought my phone was turned off. Glad to see you in the audience, whether you're watching us live tonight or
trying to call you.
Or if you're listening to us on a podcast. We're really glad that you're in the audience.
Yes, we are.
Oh, we've already got a comment from Trish Pipkins. Hello, I'm awake. Haha.
Good morning, Trish.
Yeah, I'm glad you're awake and glad that you're here.
You might think she's in Australia, but she's not.
No.
At any rate, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Let's see. Voice of Indie podcast right after this show tonight. What you need to do, it's Voice of Indie podcast on blogtalkradio.com with host Beam Weeks and Stephen Gary G's. Go to Twitter and look at Fresh Ink Group and see the pinned tweet. And then you can comment on a tweet, but use the hashtag Fresh Ink Group, or you can call in on the phone number 516-453-9902. That's every Wednesday night right after our show. Tonight's guest is an author playwright, Jay Adjaluni, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, Jay, but that's who the guest is tonight. So
hello,
make sure you check him
James.
out.
James Rickard says, hello, Rob, Joan, and Ron.
Hi,
Ron is
James.
still backstage, but I'm sure he can hear me.
Yeah.
And Joe Conjal
Says whoops.
No. Hi,
Joe.
Rob and Joan. Hi, Joe. Glad that you're able to stop by tonight. We're glad to see everybody.
Glad the thunderstorms haven't kept you away. Okay. Oh, and starting today is Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. So if you're up in the Gettysburg area, get over there between today and the 21st. Don't go during our show. Wait until after the show. Mm-hmm. And WLFE's own Ted Vanson is one of the guests there, guest lecturer. Mm-hmm. And he'll be our guest next week at 7:00 as well. So
he's the station manager here.
He's our station manager.
And he is paranormal investigator like we are. And he's written 2 books, and we'll be talking about his books. And we may have or may not have a lively discussion about the way that we all do our investigations. We use equipment. He does not.
There you go.
And this is Amina Hankins. Hello,
hey,
glad
Amina.
to meet you and looking forward to Ron. We are also. That's
Yes.
our guest tonight. We're glad that you could be in the audience, Amina.
That's right. So speaking of books,
Yeah.
currently I am still reading this one right here, Eulogy in Black and White, Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles. This one's by Caleb Pirtle, and I'm almost done, as you can see by my little bookmarker there. I've got about 2 chapters left, and it was hard to put it down to come in here. Haven't had much chance to read lately because we've been doing some house work, painting and redecorating.
Repainting. Yeah.
And
redecorating, painting.
What are you reading?
I'm still reading Mahjong Murders.
Mahjong Murders?
Yeah. By Linda Pirtle.
That's Linda's book.
Plus, Amina is going to be a guest on our show.
Yes, she is.
She's in the audience tonight. She's the one that just said
She'll
hello.
be on in a few weeks. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At any rate, I think it's probably time we should bring Ron Alexander in.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Welcome.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes, we're really happy to have you. Thanks for coming on the show and also sending Amina our way. And Here she is in the audience. It's good for you to see a friendly face in the audience, isn't it?
I bribed her.
You bribed her. Oh my!
Oh, look at it's Patricia Foy. She says, "Hi, Ron."
Hello, Patricia.
Did you bribe her too?
Anybody that comes on the show that knows me, I had the problem.
You had to, wow, you
I don't believe you, Ron.
no, because you didn't bribe us.
Joe Ponjel says, I'm just wrapping up James's book. That's great.
Well, you're
That's
a
good to
faster
know.
reader than I am. Gosh.
Yeah, you won't know
You're 2 books ahead of me.
how or when. I mean, that's an
right.
ominous title. And Patricia Foy said, I made it. We're glad you did.
That's right.
Okay. Amina wants to make sure everybody knows that Ron just invited her. There was no bribe. We know that.
So, Ron, people don't know you, but I think they would like to know you. So can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started writing?
Well, I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I won't say what year, but I was born there, and I grew up in North Philadelphia, in what's called the Strawberry Mansion area. My family at that time would probably be considered as middle class, because both my grandmother and my grandfather were gainfully employed, and so I enjoyed a lot of good things as a kid. I didn't want for anything. In regards to your other question, I started writing when I was 12 years old. And
that's interesting.
Well, it came about as a way of me surviving. I had a very bad problem speaking. I stuttered a lot.
Oh.
And that really made me afraid of talking with anyone. And so, so I decided, okay, well, if I can't talk, I can write.
Oh.
And that's how I started writing, and did a lot of reading, and wrote some short stories, and eventually moving, fast forward then, okay, my professional writing career began in a place called Amherst, Massachusetts.
Oh.
I became friends with Yolanda King, which was Martin Luther King's eldest daughter. And she was a theater major at Smith College. I went to see one of her plays. I decided to write a review. I submitted it to the local paper. They ran it and they paid me. And I said, okay, but this is how this works. So that started my professional writing career. And then over the years, I've worked as a journalist. I did a lot of work in Philadelphia for the longest continuously Black newspaper in the United States, which is Philadelphia Tribune. And let's see, I was a book critic, I was a restaurant critic, I was a music critic, I was a theater critic. What I enjoyed most was working as a restaurant critic.
I knew you were going to say that.
I got to eat.
There you go.
And I was always able to take a guest with me. So
awesome.
This took care of my my dating, okay, because I could take out dates, okay, to eat with me, and it's not costing me nothing, and I'm getting paid for it, okay. So, but over the years, following that, I got to the point. Oh, let me just incidentally say this: as an entertainment writer, I got to meet some of the most impressive people in the entertainment industry during that time. I'm talking about people like Johnny Mathers,
Oh,
Gladys Knight,
oh,
Diana Ross, Sammy Davis Jr. Grover Washington Jr. was one of my favorites because he was such a nice guy. He and Al Jarreau um,
oh, Alan Giroux.
were two of the nicest people, and they were so friendly and they were so giving of their time with me. As a matter of fact, my article on Grover Washington is what really started my writing career in Philadelphia. I was the first journalist in Philadelphia to do an article on Grover when he first moved.
That's
But
wonderful.
moving forward, okay, after spending so many years writing about other people, I woke up one morning and I said, I'm tired of writing about other people. Maybe it's high time that I start writing about me. And as a result of that affirmation, I wrote my first book, which was the title of it is "Don't Tell Me What to Do," and it was
Here it is.
a book that that's me on the cover. I was 5 years old when this picture was taken.
You
And
were a cute baby boy.
Look at you.
I may have been cute, okay, but I was hell on wheels.
You were a pistol.
I was a pistol. My grandmother used to always say that, that I was a piece of work. And she always used to tell a story about when I was 8 years old, I told her I wanted to live my own life. And, but I was a very outgoing kid. And, but I started to put together a book about my life, and it covers about 2 decades of my life, where I talk about the social influences on my life, the different things that I did. Some were good and some were bad, but I wanted to write a book about myself in which I took responsibility for myself.
Was this in Don't Tell Me What to Do?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Incidentally, that I have to mention that my mother, she threatened to sue me,
Oh my goodness.
and she was serious. Okay,
I believe you.
but this was the type of book where I blamed no one for my life.
Right.
I took responsibility for my life. It wasn't a book that was written to be to have malice, to blame other people. Okay, I just simply told the story like any good reporter would do. It was a fun book to write, very insightful. One of the funnier sections in the book is I write about the time when I was sent down south to live with my great grandmother. And I remember watching her wring the neck of a chicken, because that's how people in the South, how they killed them. So she would wring the neck of this chicken.
Yeah.
The head would come off.
Yeah.
The chicken is running around the yard.
Yeah.
Like
And
a
a couple hours,
head cut off.
Yeah.
yeah. And a couple hours later, she puts a plate in front of me, parts of the chicken, and I told her, I'm not eating that.
Yeah.
I'm not eating that. You know, I had never seen nothing like this in my life, because back home in Philly, of course, we had chicken that we got out of the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when I saw all the blood on her hands and the chicken around the yard, and then she gives me the chicken parts, I said, oh no, I don't want no parts.
Ron, my grandmother did the same thing. She and my grandfather had a little dairy farm up in New Hampshire, and she would wring the chicken's neck, and she told me she did that rather than chopping it off with an axe, because they'd run around for 2 hours and, and blood would go flying everywhere. But she also used to slaughter hogs.
My great grandmother slaughtered hogs.
And so I grew up watching that. It's we are more alike than different, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Joe Conjal has a question that goes back to you being a restaurant critic. He said, did restaurant managers fear you? LOL. Did they know you were a critic?
They never knew I was coming.
They didn't see it coming.
And Amina says that you were adorable on the cover of your book. And Patricia Foy says, so cute. And then Patricia said, absolutely 100% correct on chicken prepping. My mother's great aunt did the same thing on her chicken farm in Roanoke, West Virginia. Yeah, they'd wring the neck so that it wouldn't go all over the place.
Well,
yeah,
I was traumatized when I saw it. Okay, I mean, I thought that was the worst thing to do. But in the event, these are the types of things that I talk about in my book. And I also talk about the time that I spent with the Black Panther Party, because I joined the Black Panther Party when I was 17 years old. And believe me, I had no idea what I was getting involved with.
Oh, okay.
At the time that I joined the Black Panther Party, I did not know that they were being attacked by federal, local policemen all around the country. I just knew that this is a group of people I could be with because they were as angry and as pissed off as me.
Yeah.
So I felt very comfortable being in the Black Panther Party for that reason. My politics even back then was rather radical,
Hence joining the Black Panthers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Patricia Foy wants to know, did you actually meet Huey Newton?
I didn't meet Huey, but I met the co-founder. Oh God, his name escapes me. But I was a member of the New Haven chapter of the Black Panther Party, which was a very active party for the Black Panther Party. And I should mention, that what happened, that had nothing to do with, but several members of the New Haven chapter of the Black Panther Party, they were arrested. Fortunately, I was not at the headquarters when this happened, but they were arrested and they were charged with bringing an informant from the state of New York back to Connecticut. He was tortured, he was killed, and his body was thrown into the river. And the name that I was trying to remember, who I did meet, was Bobby Steele. He was one of the co-founders.
Bobby Steele was the co-founder.
And he was one of the people that was arrested and charged with murder. But after this happened, I became totally disillusioned.
I bet.
And I said, Ron, okay, you must find another way of expressing yourself, because this is not a safe way to do it.
Yeah. That was a good plan. Just a second. Joe Conchal says, I'm with Ron. I'd rather not know or think too hard about how that chicken gets to my plate. And Chris Chrisman says, good evening, Rob and Joan. Hello, Ron.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Okay, so Chris Chrisman also wants to know
what year
was that, Ron? And Amina says, oh, yes, free Bobby buttons were everywhere. Yep. Yeah.
What year was that? I would have to say it was in the 70s.
Okay.
Around about 77 or 78.
Oh, the late 70s.
I'm telling my age now, okay? But I had the knack of following where my curiosity would take me. I was never, I had no fear of seeking out the truth, no matter where it would be. And I had no fear of expressing myself, even if it was politically incorrect. One thing that happened, which I would like to allude to real quick, is that the Black Panther Party was located in New Haven. I was living in New London, which is about an hour away. And when Huey Newton came up for an appeal, he was in jail. He was charged with murder. And Free Huey was all over the country. I planned a protest in Little New London, Connecticut. And I was able to convince some high school students to come out and be a part of the protest. Very dangerous thing for me to do, okay? But once again, I was naive, wasn't well informed, okay? And I remember that when I got back home to my aunt and uncle, the next morning, it was in the paper, and my uncle, who had served as the past president of the NAACP in New London, he hit the ceiling.
Oh, I would have bet.
He hit the ceiling, okay? And he called my father, and when he told me he had called my father and my father was coming to New London, I packed up and I left New London on the way back to Philly. So my father and I probably passed each other on 95. But what happened is when my father got to New London, he issued a public apology for what I did.
Oh
my
no!
goodness.
I was written off as being some misguided kid. Okay, I really didn't know what I was doing, which was not true, you know. But
and that it had nothing to do with his family. Your family. Yeah.
My family up there, they were very image conscious because my uncle was very well known and respected, you know. And
NAACP. I mean, that was a whole different path that they were taking.
Exactly. NAACP, Black Panther, that's like oil and water. Didn't mix.
Wait just a minute. There's a few comments and questions, and we actually have to go to a commercial, but we'll get these. We'll talk about this. Chris Chrisman said it was still dangerous in the late 70s.
Yes.
And he also said, wow, not good about your uncle and your dad. And then Patricia has a question. Patricia Foy has a question. Is it true that the Black Panther Party was infiltrated by plants to help destroy them? Oh, I'm sure that's true, but I don't know. Was it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, you know.
All over the country.
The government is still. Well, no, I won't say
no. Okay. All right. We need to break for a commercial.
Don't go anywhere, people. This is
tight.
Really exciting.
And
so don't go away.
We will be back, and there is going to be a book giveaway later on here. And we need to hear about Ron's other two books and some more stories.
Yeah. Great stories. Amazing.
Stand by. See you in a minute, guys.
I'm blown away.
They thought the siren was dead. In the novel Siren Song by author George Dismukes, James Harmon shot her twice. Several people saw her dead body sinking slowly into the abyss. But now, in Siren Song 2, evidence suggests that she may still be alive.
She killed that boatload of people. It was her! And she's just getting started!
And gee, that's impossible.
The cold chill up my spine tells me it's not impossible. We've got to start all over again. And this time, do it right.
Siren Song 2. The story continues. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites. Get your copy today.
At Indie Book Source, you can shop by genre or by author, and you will be buying direct from the author's main purchase link. We offer hundreds of titles in formats that include ebooks, paperback, hardbound, and audiobook. Support an indie author. Visit indiebooksource.com today. Okay, listen, you've got to hear some of these comments. I love it. I love the audience tonight. Patricia Foy said, awesome. And Chris Chrisman said, 1973 American Indian Movement. I wore a shirt that said Custer had it coming.
That's funny. That's great.
That is great. And Patricia Foy said, really enjoying the podcast.
Oh,
we
good.
are too, Patricia.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you are.
It's fun.
And James Rickard says, what a story. It's
that's only part of it.
Really, James, seriously.
Hang in there.
Well, you know, before we go on, Rob and Joan, there's something that I need to say.
Okay.
Sure.
I used to think that the worst experience in my life was living as a Black man in America. But then I lost my girlfriend to ovarian cancer. And that's a good segue into my second book, which is Cherished Diamond, where I write about my relationship with this amazing woman. And I write about our love affair. And it's my idea of a love story. I don't want to give it away, but it is, it's a book that looks at what unconditional love is. And the book really brings out how much this woman loved me unconditionally. And then I was faced with her being diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And I had to put aside everything that was important to me to be there for her as she had been there for me. I was using drugs when she got sick. And in order for me to spend time with her in hospice, I had to stop using drugs, which I did. The book chronicles that relationship and how this story with this woman unfolded, and how through her death I learned what unconditional love is. I said I wouldn't get emotional, and I'm not, but you have to understand, okay, that for those out there in the audience that has experienced a loved one dying from cancer or from any other type of disease, you know, going through hospice with the dying person is not easy. It's very, very hard. You know, but as caring people, we try to be there. I had no idea what I was doing. All I knew was that I had to keep a clear head to go see her. And I did. You know, so Cherished Diamond is my version of a love story. And believe me, I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would write a love story.
Patricia Foy says, it's the ones we love and lose, or the ones who get away, that have the most impact on us. And Chris Chrisman says, love can change your life, and the loss is indescribable. Joe Conjal says, it's sad that sometimes it takes a tragedy in our life to truly understand what's important to us. And unconditional love is not something that everybody gets to experience. So you are really and
You're
truly blessed to have known such a precious woman.
Yeah. And she was amazing. You know, she was my perfect mate, you know, and I used to joke with her before she died. I always used to tell her that that the probability would be that she would outlive me. Because
Yeah.
women tend to outlive men.
Yeah.
But the opposite happened. I wound up outliving her, and I was,
Devastated.
Yeah.
Patricia Foy said, "It truly hurts the most when we lose a loved one to illness, accident, or tragedy. I commend you, Ron, for being able to come through it and share that experience with us."
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was
It
my
changed your life, right?
her death was life changing.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I realized during the time that she was in hospice that I realized that, Ron, it's not really about you. It's never been about you.
Yeah.
It's about the people that we love and care for. And her death took me out of being self-centered because I learned how to love and to give back. And as your callers have already stated, okay, sometimes it takes a tragedy for us to wake up.
Yeah.
Patricia wants to say, she is still with you, Ron. Her spirit will be with you forever. And Chris Chrisman says, it's harder on us that are left behind to live on. We each follow our own path and journey through life. Yep, we do.
Well, these people are very insightful.
Yeah, they're a great audience.
Yeah, they are. But anyway, Cherished Diamond is my second book,
And here's the cover again, Cherished Diamond.
Yeah.
We recommend
And that's the
that
one that's
you
going
buy
to be
it.
when we do the book giveaway now.
Yeah, that's going to be the book giveaway. So while we're talking about this, let me go in and actually show you all of his websites and how to reach Ron. I really love this, and you authors that are in the audience are going to love this too. His website is
Marketing Genius.
Marketing Genius is right. Is buyronsbook.com. Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's a message.
That's BUYRONSBOOK. And his Facebook is Ron Alexander Authors Page, and that's RONALEXANDER, Ron Alexander Authors Page. His Twitter is @BuyRonsBook. LinkedIn is Ron-Alexander. Instagram is BuyRonsBook 2010. I think this is so smart. All right. We'll now do the book giveaway.
Book giveaway is the first 3 people to email Ron at buyronsbook.com will win an ebook copy of Cherished Diamond. So you don't want to miss that one.
Yeah, that's Ron at buyronsbook.com.
His email is ron@buyronsbook.com. So the first 3 people to email Ron at buyronsbook, that's the whole email is ron@buyronsbook.com, will win an ebook copy of Cherished Diamond. That's the book that we've been talking about.
Joan.
Yes, sir.
I just have to mention that you have alluded to my marketing skills, and I previously did work for the McDonald's Corporation. I moved to Chicago. I went to work for a black advertising agency who had McDonald's as their account. Everything I learned about marketing, I learned from McDonald's. McDonald's is a marketing machine. There's no company better at marketing than the McDonald's Corporation.
So
So I didn't want to.
are you going to send everybody a cheeseburger if they send you an
I
email?
wish I could. I wish I could. But that was during my, that was during a time of life, okay, where I was being really productive. This was before my addiction began, and I did a lot of things that I could have never imagined that I would be able to do. This little boy from North Philadelphia representing a company like McDonald's. That was incredible. Incredible.
So people are commenting. After Chris Chrisman said, we each follow our own path journey through life. Amina said, beautiful. Joe Conjal says, love that. Talking about what you were saying. Chris Chrisman says, brilliant name for a website, right by Ron's book. I love it. Paul Hollis says, excellent site. By the way, Paul, I bought and Rob bought a Endangered Earthlings t-shirt.
T-shirts, yeah. Watch next week. We'll be wearing them.
Lonnie Becca Jones says, that is awesome. It really is. Joe Conjal said, oh, and this is true because you should have learned this at McDonald's. You can include a toy with every book sale.
There you go.
Exactly.
And Patricia Foy says, that's genius, Ron. McDonald's are so successful with their ad campaigns. You learned the ropes. We see. Awesome.
Well, I'm already getting some emails.
Awesome. That's great. That's great.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It is.
Come on, type up, people, or you're going to miss your chance. It's really this book really, really sounds awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna have to enter.
Yep.
There won't be any left.
Cherish Diamond. And
Gentlemen, Rob, would you mind if I just I have to talk about the dark period in my life.
yes,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you to explain to people that you're no longer addicted, but you need to explain to them what happened before that.
Yeah. Can we take a moment to get our last commercials out of the way?
Sure.
All right,
Okay,
we'll do our last commercials, and
Yes.
then you can
Don't go
tell
anywhere,
everything
anybody.
that you want. Don't worry, we'll
That's
let
right.
you get it all out.
We've got all evening.
And we
actually.
expect everybody to stay tuned so you can hear the whole
Yes.
thing.
So here we go. See you in a minute.
Many secrets are hidden within the darkness of the jungle. Behold, this one about a man, a woman, a black jaguar, and an ancient Maya legend. Two Faces of the Jaguar is a novel by George Dismukes that will take you deep into the jungle and capture your imagination until the last word. Two Faces of the Jaguar is book one of a trilogy. Two Faces of the Jaguar, where only the adventurous dare to read.
Two Faces of the Jaguar, The Lost City, and The Jaguar's Quest are available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites. Two Faces of the Jaguar, the book people are talking about. Get your copy today.
Live every Wednesday, your Voice of Indie hosts Beam Weeks and Stephen Gees welcome authors, musicians, publishing industry pros, artists, and assorted creative guests for an exciting interactive hour. Call in during the show or post questions and comments on Twitter for responses in real time. Meet your favorite indie creators, learn inside tips, network, and promote your work. The link for each week's show is pinned on Twitter atop @VoiceOfIndie. And you can receive the link every Wednesday morning in your inbox by subscribing to our newsletter at freshinkgroup.com. Check out Voice of Indie every Wednesday on Blog Talk Radio and catch hundreds of episodes archived everywhere from our websites to our YouTube channel and Spotify.
And we're back.
Just a few more comments. Lonnie Becca Jones, and actually I think this is probably the Becca part of Lonnie Becca. Do you have a book you wrote about marketing? I would buy it. As a self-published author, I am learning marketing and always looking for tips. I can tell you, no, he didn't.
Not yet, maybe.
Patricia, that's an idea though, Ron. Patricia Foy says, Ron, as one author and artist to another, I would prefer to support you by purchasing the book. And Chris Chrisman says, it's nice to see another survivor, Ron. And then Patricia wants you to know she will do so soon. Okay, we got the comments out of the way. So go ahead. Why don't you share with everybody what you really need to share?
Okay. My addiction to drugs began when I was 35 years old. And that's rather late in life.
Yes.
But everything about my childhood led me to that moment when I was 35 years old to start using cocaine. I was addicted for over 20 years. I was in and out of rehabs. I think I probably was in and out of at least 10 rehabs in the Philadelphia area. Nothing was working. I wasn't getting it. But I remember very well that my last time of using, and the last rehab I went into, I had lost about 15 pounds. I was thin as a rail. I was malnourished, and when I went into this rehab, I looked so bad that they gave me double portions of food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because I had lost that much weight. But my final trip into a rehab, a bell just went off in my head. A bell that said to me, Ron, you're done. I think it was the voice of God. My 20-year addiction to drugs ended, and it took me 20 years in an active addiction to get 20 years clean, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people probably don't understand what addiction is. And I have my own definition.
Okay.
Addiction is when I'm engaging in a substance or a behavior that has consequences, but I continue to do it anyway. That's very broad. And if you work from that definition, you would understand, okay, that addiction is more than drugs and alcohol. We all are capable of being addicted to something.
Yes.
Some of us can't stop eating. You
Right.
you can't walk past the refrigerator. Some of us smoke. Some of us are addicted to sex. Some of us are addicted to work. So the only difference is that my addiction was life-threatening, whereas someone that has food addiction, well, that's life-threatening too. But,
Oh, yes.
But we all are capable of being addicted to something because we are human beings. I would have to say that the enlightenment that I have come to have was the result of my 20 years of being a drug addict. I would have liked to have been enlightened in a different way. I would have liked that I became enlightening and not had to endorse the pain of being a drug addict for 20 years, where I was homeless, I was jobless. Okay, life was a total wreck. Today, I must say that I am clean through the grace of God. I read the Bible and I read about the stories of the people that were delivered. Jesus delivered people from their sins. Jesus delivered the prophet Paul. Jesus even, he had a hard time with Jonah, but eventually, okay, he got Jonah out of the belly, okay, and Jonah went where God told him to go. So rather than me saying I'm in recovery, I like to say I have been delivered.
Delivered.
Amen.
Yeah, you've had victory.
Yes. Yes. Now, being delivered doesn't mean that this could never happen to me again.
Nope.
Being delivered means that I must stay in the grace of God to keep what He has given to me. And I do that in my own way. Okay. So I'm not saying that AA and NA are not important programs, because they are. Okay. But if anybody out there is familiar with AA, you would know that the 12 steps that we hear so much about AA, the 12 steps are actually based on biblical beliefs. Dr. Bob and Bill Wilson, when they wrote the 12 steps, they drew from the Holy Bible to write those steps.
Right.
And it's all about putting your trust in a higher power.
Exactly. Exactly. Even with being clean for so many years, I still go to AA meetings because I have a great friendships with a lot of people that go to AA. And going to meetings is one way that I can ensure that I'm not isolating. Because I don't know about you people, but sometimes I like to isolate. I like to shut out the world. Well, isolation is bad for me. And the one way that I avoid it is by going to a meeting, because it gets me outside of myself and outside of the door. Which, we want to talk about my book.
I'm going to bring it up right now because I was sure that that's where we were going. It's this one. Bulletproof Soul, Personal Essays. This is not out yet, but
No.
It should be soon, right?
Yeah.
Nice cover, by the way.
It is available to be pre-ordered if someone would like to do that, and they would find it on my
all right.
website. But first, let me say that the title of the book I borrowed from the singer Sade. She recorded the song by the name of Bulletproof Soul. And when I listened to the song and when I thought about the title of it, I said, I guess all these years that I've been clean from drugs, okay, I have had a bulletproof soul. So I decided to use that title, and Bulletproof Soul is a book of essays where I write about different topics, like racism, discrimination. I write about mental health. I write about mental illness. I write about drug addiction, and I just felt that I could tell these stories better in essay form because it allows me to cover so many different areas in each essay.
Right.
So I've been struggling with it because one of the essays that I do write, I write about having learned that my father was a pedophile. Now that's normally a taboo subject.
Yes.
But if you remember the movie The Color Purple, Alice Walker was criticized for writing about incest she was blackballed really by such organizations as the NAACP because they thought it was so inappropriate for her to talk about a topic so openly that is a private topic among Black people in the South. So I write about when I learned my father was a pedophile. My reaction was shock. I mean, I didn't want to believe it, but I did some investigation and I found out that the story that one of my sisters told me that about him was in fact true, that he had abused her, okay, when she was a teenager. You know, so those are the types of essays that I have in my book, and I guess that's why I'm having such a hard time getting it done, because a lot of these essays are covering subjects that are very personal.
And really hard to share. Trish Pipkin says, "Thank you for sharing your story. Your honesty and candidness helps others know there's the possibility of redemption."
Amen. I believe in redemption.
And Ron, that's why I titled this episode A Voice of Hope, because your story is a voice of hope, and I hope people can hear it. More people can hear it.
Well, you know, Rob, I know what it is to lose all hope that life has no meaning. I know what that feels like. You know, when I tried to commit suicide when I was in my active addiction, okay, I had lost all hope, okay. I did not believe that it was possible for me to stop using crack cocaine, and I wanted to stop so badly that I thought that suicide was the only way that I would be able to stop. Well, fortunately, God didn't see it that way. You know, I was obviously unsuccessful in trying to kill myself, and eventually I got on the right path, and I learned, okay, that redemption is possible. I was able to get delivered, and so today I'm living like everybody else.
That's wonderful.
I pay taxes like you and everybody else. I make the same decisions on a day-to-day basis, and it feels good to live a normal life, because for so long my life was it was a wreck.
And it's very difficult, as you mentioned earlier in your story, to be delivered, because so many addicts go through so many programs. And like you said, you'd been through 6 programs or something like that? I mean,
10 or more.
10 or more.
Yeah.
And then it took God speaking to you for you to be delivered. And,
right.
Patricia Foy said, "God had a plan for you and all this, Ron. Your pain and disclosure is now helping many others. God bless you." Amen. And I agree. And I agree with that.
Lives touching other lives. That's for sure.
Yeah. And she also says, and this is true, it's really sad that this problem has become rampant in our society. It's so commendable of you, Ron, in sharing this part of your past so that you can release your demons. But it's also wonderful because it is very prevalent, especially among our young people. And I hope they would buy your book, because they get caught in this circle of addiction, and at a really young age. And here Joe Conjal says, and then they feel like there's no way out, because we know people that have gone through rehab numerous times, people that know the Lord and still
struggling.
Yeah. Joe Conjal says, "You have an amazing story, Ron. Thank God you came through it to become the man you are today."
Now, I didn't bribe him. I don't know.
You don't know, Joe.
Well, we do, and we'll find out whether you actually did.
Well, let me say this real real quick. Lately, I've been working at a drug rehab. Um, I consider it as my calling in life to reach out to other people who are in pain and who are trying to get their demons off their back. So working at this drug rehab gives me an opportunity to interact with young people
Yes.
who want to turn their life around. And believe me, it's not an easy path. You know, kicking drugs and alcohol takes a tremendous amount of strength. Everybody don't do it, can't do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Some
Right.
people die in their addiction, and you're right about with the fentanyl thing that's going on now. There are so many kids who are ODing off of this drug.
Well, it's even in drugs that they don't even know that are laced with fentanyl. They're lacing fentanyl on all different kinds of drugs, and it seems like every day there's a new drug that's come
That's
out.
right.
That's
That's right.
We have Mexico, thank fentanyl, but that's where it mostly comes from, Mexico.
Yeah.
Patricia Foy says there are many homeless right here in California, that have become throwaway people, who have fallen through the cracks of our society. These are those who use alcohol and drugs to anesthetize their pain. Yeah, there's a lot of homeless people that actually have mental health issues, and that's why they're homeless. And the drugs and alcohol are a big problem.
I'm glad that she made that point, because vast numbers of people who are addicted also have they have mental health issues also.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the recovery community across the country are now addressing both of those issues, where they deal with the mental illness and they deal with the addiction. But the most important thing, that if a person is mentally ill and if they're addicted to drugs, they must stop using first. Because if you don't stop using, the therapy, the medication, or whatever else that's in your treatment, it's not going to work.
Trish Pipkins says, we watch celebrities die all the time. Anne Heche just did. I've had addicts tell me if they can't beat it, how can anyone? Which is wrong and sad. It can't, and that's why Ron's here. He did beat it.
Right.
And Joe Conjal says, do you think you will ever take your experiences and weave them into a fiction crime story or a series? Fiction, not nonfiction.
I don't see myself ever writing fiction.
No.
I don't like the genre. I mean, it doesn't suit me. I prefer non-fiction, because I like to be an authentic voice in what I write about, and I can't do that writing fiction.
Right. Good answer.
Gotcha.
Good answer.
Well, let me put up all three of your books again so people will see them.
And I encourage everyone to support Ron. If you don't win a book, buy the books anyway. Visit his website and support him. Write to him and tell him your story if you have stories to tell or you need help or whatever. Ron would like to hear from you, I'm sure.
His email is easy. It's ron@buyronsbook.com.
Right. So while you're there, buy Ron's book.
Yeah. So it's don't tell me what to do, which I relate to. And Cherish Diamond. And that's his sweet girlfriend right there. And then the new one coming out soon, which you can pre-order, is Bulletproof Soul. We have another comment. Patricia Foy said a lot of those mental issues come from these throwaways who were first abused as children, turned to alcohol and drugs as a means of coping, ran away from home, became homeless. It all starts in the home. Well, also, I think there are a lot of mental health issues that frankly, I think a lot of us are just born with. And sometimes life can be overwhelming, especially with COVID and everything that's, that has gone on in society lately, that
Well, Jones, family depression is a reality.
Oh, yes, it is.
There are entire families that are dealing with depression, and it just goes from one generation to another.
My family. Patricia Pipkins will tell you that is a big thing in our family. Believe it or not, general anxiety disorder, OCD. I'm very OCD. He's OCD. No, I'm serious. Depression. I mean, they all go together. They're a big ball of wax, and
we're wacky.
We are wacky, but by the grace of God, we're victorious and overcomers also.
That's right.
Well, but let me finally say that that I want to invite anybody to use my email address, to communicate with me. You might have questions. You might know someone who's addicted or is an alcoholic, okay? And maybe I can tell you more about what worked for me, because what worked for me might work for someone else.
And I agree with you, because I think a lot of people listening to this podcast, when it becomes a podcast tomorrow and watching the show tonight, most people know a family member or have a friend who has a drug addiction problem. It is that rampant, know.
Common.
And Joe Conjal says, Ron will sell many books tonight with his subliminal email and website message.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. And Patricia Foy says, thanks, Ron, for sharing your very impressive insights and experiences. Great podcast.
Well, the credit goes to you, Rob and Joan, because you guys do a great job. And I can feel and see the chemistry between you guys. You guys have great chemistry, and I applaud you for taking on this calling, I guess I can call it, to present indie authors to the world. So my appreciation goes out.
And we've often said that it's the story behind the author that's always the best story. Yeah. I mean, their books are wonderful, but the things that people have overcome that we've had on the show are amazing, and it always blows us away. It just so happens that you, having overcome all of those things, that's what you're writing about. So your stories are your story. So that's one of the reasons why this is such a wonderful thing for us. Is we love all of our authors that have been on here, and they've all been amazing, and many of them are still overcoming really difficult things. It's just, Trish Pipkin says, thank you, Ron. The world is a better place with you in it. Absolutely. Right, Trish? Isn't that the truth? I know. Amen.
Well, Rob and John, let me say that Amina,
yes,
Angela Hankins is going to be
on our show.
She's going to be a very good guest.
Oh, I know I know they will be. And Amina says, good night. I hope I win the latest book. Thanks. I hope you too, Amina.
Yeah, we'll be talking to you soon.
To Amina. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate being here, and thanks again for so much that you do.
thank you too.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for everything that you've done in the books that you've written and being willing to share your story and put yourself on the line. There's one more comment if you can bring it up. Let's see.
Very
impactful show. Thank you, Ron. That's from Paul Hollis.
Oh.
All right.
All right. Well, we're going to
Push you
time
over
has
to the
come
side.
to
Well,
like
actually, this way.
I'm going to push you over just 1 second here. Hold on, Ron. There we go.
Don't go away.
Don't go away. I hope that didn't jolt you too
after
much.
the show.
Okay, so what's got coming up this Saturday? Episode Rewind, episode 38, Susan Kite.
Oh, yeah, that was a good intro
from
too.
6 months ago, something
Yeah.
like that, 6-7 months ago. And that'll be this Saturday at 5:30 p.m. right here where you're watching. You can watch Susan Kite, an amazing author. We already talked about Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. Next week is Ted Vanson is going to be on as our guest, and we're going to talk about the paranormal. Yeah, we're going to talk about ghost hunting.
And like I said, we use equipment. He does not.
Yeah, but he's written a couple of books
that will teach you how you can go ahead and do this.
Right, may not be the right way. No, I'm kidding. Just joking.
There's no right way or
no, there isn't, of course. Okay, let's see, what do we got here? Thank you, Ron, Joan, and Rob. This was a very heartfelt and strong episode. Yes, it was. Patricia, thanks much, Rob and Joan, for being such great hosts. And Amina says, what?
SMH. I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know.
I think you do. I think you do.
Yeah, she's very smart.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I can tell.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see, where are we going here?
Have a good night. You have a good night too, Amina. And all of you, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
And tune in next week.
Yep.
Same time, same place.
Same bat station. Until next week.
We love your comments. We love for you to share.
Until next time.
Subscribe to our YouTube. That's all, folks.
Thank you for joining us here on Meet the Author. Make sure you stay up to date with our show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DB.com.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.